Maybe a different person would have handled it better, but I didn't. I wasn't able to handle it well. At the maximum for a year and a half, I was sleeping like 1 to 2 hours a day. It felt like my life was one long day as I slowly witnessed myself losing my mind, then wondering why am I even doing this to myself? I am who I am today because of this. And that's being a working student. It's like the thing that changed me the most. And I am who I am today because of this. And that's being a working student. So I was born out of poverty. I live in the slums of Angeles City. And I had a dream. I wanted to finish college. I finished senior high school, and after that, I started applying for scholarships because there was no way in hell that I can afford going to private school without a scholarship. But I wasn't like mainly focusing on going to a private school. The goal was to go to college, and um, I just graduated senior high school. So of course, everyone in my batch, my friends, my classmates, were looking for colleges, and we did apply for a few colleges, especially private colleges. Or I actually just tried entrance exams on one private college, and it's a private college just working walking distance from our home. I wouldn't say it's elite, but it's a very well known college or university in my hometown. And it's a pricey place to go to. There was no way in hell that I can manage to study there without scholarship. I took the test, and then my friend told me about the scholarship and this foundation, and I applied for it too. But as days come by or pass by, and the start of the school year is getting closer, I haven't heard from that scholarship. So I also tried checking out this nice public college, which was far from our hometown. It was like an entire town away. And luckily, like a few weeks before the start of that class, I got the notification that I passed and I got that college scholarship. It was 100% scholarship. Mm, I think I'd give them a shout out. I was an SM scholar, and it's one of the best scholarships ever. In case this video doesn't do well or like doesn't serve its purpose, I want to put it out there. I was an SM scholar, and it's the best because they paid for everything, and the grades that I'm maintaining was pretty low. And the thing that I appreciate the most about that scholarship is that the application process. You just have to be smart enough and poor enough. That doesn't sound good, but to qualify, and I appreciate that because I got it. That was supposed to be a nice start. Oh, by the way, the thing about that scholarship though is they only have limited um courses, and the course that I was eyeing for, if I was gonna end up going to the public school, was architecture. It was a nice degree to have, but then I had the option of the scholarship and basically an option to study in a very nice university, which is walking distance from our house, but like with a different course. Luckily, there was this course that I really wanted, but I wasn't sure if I should be taking it or what. At first, I considered being engineering or taking up engineering, specifically civil engineering, because it's kind of like similar or connected to architecture. But I I knew that I wouldn't be able to take that because it was too much math for me. And I ended up taking a course called Entertainment and Multimedia Computing, which fell into the umbrella of IT, or Information Technology, which was um, accepted by my sponsors. Anyways, that's what happened. I was taking animation and I was a scholar. So, at the beginning of college, in my first year, I was expecting to like spend a lot despite having the scholarship, which kind of is what happened because I did had some units that required me to buy some books from here and then. But my scholarship came with a allowance too, which was very helpful. But despite that, I still had to work because somehow I was sort of a breadwinner in our family, and I wasn't totally taking care of the entire finance in our family, but I had to work. It had to happen. So I was working as a call center agent the entire time. And when COVID hit, so I started studying 2018, 2019, and then 2020. 2020 happened. The year ended. I was second year college, and I was about to pursue third year, but they were requiring that I should have a laptop because it's home based education. I don't have a laptop. I didn't have a laptop that was at least capable of like handling the softwares that we were using in that on the courses that I was taking. And I was an multimedia student, so those softwares weren't just like simple softwares. You had to be a strong laptop. And so I was decided. I knew that I had to stop, which I did. I stopped for 2 years, and luckily my sponsors allowed me to stop. And during that time break, I continued working. I didn't work entirely in the year 2020, but I did think that by the end of the year, I started working again. And I saved up money. My aunt helped me on taking up a laptop for installment. And so I was able to continue studying after those 2 years. But I was working on and off the entire time. But most of the year, I was working. Usually, what happens is I hop from one company to another because when I get like in the point where I really need to stop and focus on my studies first, I quit because it's hard. I'm not that good at it, and my biggest struggle actually was that I had no time to sleep. I was studying in the morning and then working in the evening. But what happened is I adjusted off my sleep based on what free time I have. And at the maximum for a year and a half, I was sleeping like 1 to 2 hours a day. I get lucky if I get like 5 hours of sleep. And there are other conditions too, because our house is it's hot and it's hard to sleep. But because I was like a walking zombie, it was easy for me to sleep, especially if I needed to. But little did I know, what was I doing to myself? I was breaking down my body. And so I continued living like that. I'm studying in the morning. Sometimes I get lucky, I didn't have first period. So the usual setup of what happens is that um, I usually get home from work at 7 or 8 or 6 because the schedule is different too, especially when there's like the daylight daytime saving thing. And I get to sleep for an hour and then go to school. or I go to school and don't sleep in the morning, or I skip class. And then I go home. And sometimes I have free periods, and sometimes um, I had teachers who are not available, and then we end up studying at home. And we have remote classes, and those were like saving graces for me because I get to sleep during that time, or at least like I didn't have to waste my time working, going to my school, and then going back home sleeping. And the camera is falling. And so that was it. But the biggest struggle for me was that um, I was slowly losing losing it, losing myself. I find myself being in a constant state of awakeness, constant state of rushing, constant state of like feeling in survival mode. It was a long term trauma for me because it felt like during that time my life was one long day. I was losing my sense of time slowly. I was losing the systems in my life slowly, the patterns, my eating pattern, my sleeping pattern, and also mentally, my state mentally, I was slowly losing it. And to think that there were also personal things that's happening in my life, and I was in the process of being an adult. You know the frontal lobe thing that happens when you're 25? I was in the process of being there. And overall, looking back at it now, maybe a different person would have handled it better, but I didn't. I wasn't able to handle it well. If you would ask me right now if I have any like big regrets, or if given a chance, if knowing what I know now already, if I will still choose to be a working student, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be a working student. Good thing is I was bound by the contract that I had with my sponsors. It's always been lingering in my head, especially the further I came, or the longer I became a working student, which was also me getting closer to finishing. I remember there was a time when I was already in third year. You know, it was started in third year, and it was almost every day. I was just thinking, is this still worth it? Why am I still studying, or what and what? Because during that time, what happened is that my classmates, my batchmates, I see them having the best of their time or life in college. You know, everyone was doing college things, and for me, I skipped that. I didn't have a college life. I didn't have. I wasn't even present enough to take in the lessons, and I struggle at making friends. I'm kind of an introvert and also social I'm socially awkward, so it was hard. A good thing I had angels around me, literal angels. They saved me. I met this couple of people that helped me finish my studies, finish or graduate, and I'm really thankful for them. But yeah, that was the struggle. As I slowly witness myself losing my mind, like doing things out of habit and no longer out of like the goal, because you arrive at that moment where you keep on working to reach a certain goal, and then in the middle of the tiredness of the struggle, you find yourself just like doing what you're supposed to do, but then wondering why am I even doing this to myself? And it was a really, really serious thing for me, and something that I really considered quitting college and just like working entirely. Because first of all, I realized that the course that I was taking, or the career that I wanted to pursue, don't really require to have a college diploma. It's actually more knowledge based, experience based, and you can find all the resources in the internet. It would it would have been better if I just like studied and actually worked like a multimedia something. It would have been better. But I was in the middle of chaos already. And the three things that kept me from quitting being a working student was one, the contract that I had with my sponsors. Two, if I graduate college, that would set an example to my siblings or to my cousins too, because I would be the first um, person from the mother side of the family to finish or graduate college, or like to finish tertiary education. That was a big thing for me. Actually, I think it's like half of the reason why I stay, because even if my siblings won't pursue college, um, I want them to see that I will finish it, because I know that I'm capable, and I know that it was just a matter of holding on. But the struggle is in the value of time, and that was my third reason. I didn't want to waste the time that I already spent studying and working at the same time just to quit. But also, I was thinking about the time being wasted studying and working, because that could have been time that I could have spent working and then building wealth and then building my life, or working and saving up, and finding my way out of poverty and into the career that I want, because I was failing in both sides at the same time. I wasn't able to be the best student that I could be, and you know to study the things that I want to study, so I have the capability to execute my vision, because like I said, it's a multimedia course, and I'm a creative person. So of course, there are a lot of things that I wish I could have done, but I wasn't able to, because one, uh, whatever they teach us, that's all that I work with. I didn't have any prior background to it, because I didn't have a laptop before or opportunity to work with those softwares before. And two, while learning or while at school, I wasn't even at 100%, because, like I said, I was working too. So my biggest motto during that time was just that, to just do enough to survive. And I was basically, I was intentionally not doing enough or not being excellent, because I didn't want to waste my energy. Even at work, as soon as I get a grasp of what the task that I am supposed to do every day is, I just do it. And I didn't do anything to excel in it, although I know that I can. And it was sad, because I came to a point where where I lost all confidence that I had. I grew I grew up having half of my confidence dependent on my skills and my intellect and my talent too. And to be put in a position where I'm supposed to just do enough to survive just put me in a crazy situation where I had to witness myself constantly producing output that wasn't at par at my standards, constantly showing performance in my work that was below average, and somehow repeating that over and over again. It affected me in a way that I was seeing it before my eyes. My coworkers were getting incentives, and I wasn't. My classmates were having fun with all the friendships that I have, and also producing good output, and I wasn't. And that really affected me till now, because although I am a creative person, um, sometimes my head is also my biggest enemy. No, most of the time it is. And what usually happens is my vision or whatever design or like imagine thing that I want to create, it's always not matching with the skill level that I have. So I always end up wanting to do more but not being able to do enough because my skill level. And then at work, I know that I can be excellent if I try, and I do try sometimes. Um, I can reach those goals to get those incentives and like get those merits from the awards that they give out. And also, it hits a certain part of me because I work as a call center agent and it's mostly speaking in English. And I'll be honest, I really have some sort of a superiority complex inside me, knowing that I can easily speak in English. And I work along with people who are not at par with my English speaking skills. I'm not saying I'm the best English speaker, but I have confidence in my ability to speak the language, and also it shows that I can speak the language. But it takes more than that. You know, it takes your communication skills to this. Aside from the language skills, it also takes the commitment to the job itself, and just ability to deliver. And that was something that was lacking that I was lacking during that time. Because what happened is the evidence was piling up. I wasn't good at school. I wasn't good at work. And then my life was a mess too. And all of it is also accompanied by the fact that I was growing into an adult and I was witnessing myself change. I was witnessing people around me get to levels and stages in their life that somehow I'm not gonna be able to because I skipped it because of this choice that I made, which is to study and work at the same time. But looking back at it now, of course, I treat myself with grace because I'm so thankful that I'm here right now. And if I could meet that younger self, I would hug him because he needs it. And also because he deserves it. I love that boy with all my heart. I know that he did what he could and he worked with what he had during that time. He had to survive and I had to do things in order to survive. And I'm glad I did because I survived. I graduated. But looking back at it now, if there was one thing that I could have changed, or like the biggest opportunity out of that experience, it was my mindset. It was my mindset. You know, I was tired. I didn't have sleep. But I know if I pushed myself, I would have been able to be a better person at school and work and overall. And also to myself. Because I was too hard on myself too. Because the thing is, I have the tendency to be a loner and also to like take up all my problems on my own. I'm still like that right now, but that mindset really took a toll on the entire experience. I was cutting myself short before even doing anything. I was already setting my boundaries because I wanted to conserve what little I have. I was struggling. I was having a hard time. I wasn't taking it well. And it, it ended up creating an imbalance in me. It's like a debt, and I'm repaying that now. But if I could change one thing, it would definitely be that mindset. It's a mindset that accepts the fact that um, what I'm doing is hard, and accept also the fact that it's gonna be an entirely or the entire journey is gonna be hard, but also not limiting myself because I can do better while in a hard situation, and I could have done better. I had the mindset of lack. I know that I had to work with so little thing. I had little time, little energy, and because of that, I missed opportunities where I could have multiplied what I had. And being in the state of lack and thinking lack instead of prosperity or abundance, I missed the opportunity of working beyond what I had and maximizing what I had and also seeing that sometimes that little is enough and that enough is something that I really need to master until now. You know, I've been I, my entire life I've lived knowing and like being sleeping next to the concept of lack, and I had to learn that abundance should always be goal and getting enough works. If I would meet my younger self, I'd give him that hug, give him that pep talk. But most of all, I'd tell him that whatever he will be doing, it's gonna be enough. And he's doing a great job. I literally have the top diploma at my back right now. And as I pay off the debt that younger me had to take to be able to put my present me to where I am right now, I look back with gratitude that I had the opportunity to work and study at the same time. But also, I always remember that I shouldn't put myself in a situation like that again, where I am constantly faced with zero option. I am constantly put in a position where I have to stop myself from flourishing, and where I work with a closed off mind, because that's what could kill it all. Having a closed mind, having no faith that you could do more with the little that you have, and that you could survive. So if are watching this video and you're thinking of being a working student, you know, circumstances can be different, but the biggest struggle on being a working student is um, it's gonna be a big chunk of time, and this big chunk of time will require you, or the endeavor will require you to constantly be on a fight or flight mode, because you know that you're doing two things at the same time. And what you just should consider thinking about is that while being in that fight or flight state, and while being in that fight or flight state in that specific chunk of time, it could change things in you. Being in a constant state of survival mode, it could cause you um, to have a different view of yourself, to change your view of the things that are seemingly obvious but are not now. And whatever happens, one of the things that am glad I I had during my journey is that I had faith. I had faith. If I ended up losing it and not being able to finish my studies, I had faith that whatever happens to me, I'm always gonna end up in the right place where I should be. And I had faith that that God, that the heavens, the universe, I had faith that they know that my struggle is there, and that they see it. And somehow that was comforting. Because one of the biggest struggles you will face is people will get used, or at least in my case, that what happened. People will get used to seeing you tired and lose your shit. And at the beginning, they're gonna have sympathy and say that, oh, that must be so hard being a working student. Um, you're so you're so amazing for doing that, and we're proud of you or what. And I didn't hear that thing from much people because it was my choice to do this. But I remember the first time I heard like someone generally say that to me. It was like um, one of my coworkers. It helped because I felt seen. Just this entire time, I was walking around looking barely okay. And when I told this person my story, somehow all the wounds in my body appeared, and I was seen. I I was dying. I was trying to keep my head above water while looking okay at the same time. And when I felt that genuine care of a stranger, it it warmed this heart of mine. And for a moment in time, it made the entire experience bearable. And I hope that if you're gonna be a working student, I want you to know that you're so brave for doing that, and you should be proud of yourself. Whatever reason you might have, taking up that journey of working and studying at the same time shows that you have commitment and you want to take charge of your future. And I want you to know that however it may end bad or well, you may graduate or not, but I do hope you get whatever goal you want. You're gonna end up on the other side knowing what it's like to struggle and fight for what you want. And that's another perk that you get to have for the rest of your life. You know what it is to fight for what you want, and you know how it is to be in constant lookout for yourself, and it will be useful later on in life. And you know at the end of the day, the goal should be more than just surviving. And that means that there will be times where you will have to work to survive. But when the time comes where you're given the opportunity to prosper, to rest, I hope you soak it up and take it in, because you deserve that. And I hope you get to live a shining future that, surpasses the amount of pain that you had to take in. From one warrior of life to another, I hope you win that battle. And I hope that you get to go home, you get to prosper, and you get to live your life. You will graduate and you will find the job that you want. But one thing will remain. You will be a person that tried to fight for what you want. And that's already something that you should be very, very proud of. I think I'm running out of words. My thoughts, they're all over the place now, but I want you to know I love you. I am proud of you. And whatever struggle you have right now, I hope you hold on. You hold on long enough till you see that bright shiny day at the end of that dark tunnel. Take care always, and that's all for me today.